but it's not doing anything. Connect streaming software to go live. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's like a second delay.
A little delay.
Yeah. Okay. Hey guys, it's your girl London Gray with the Gray Theory Podcast. And tonight we have Monée Williams with Time Managed LLC. Go ahead, Monée, introduce yourself.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Monée Williams, and I am the CEO of Time Managed LLC. We are a full service concierge and personal assistant business.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, just to kind of, get some background on you, let's talk about where you were raised and where you grew up and just goals that you have set for yourself.
Yes, I was born in Connecticut and moved to the Atlanta area when I was in middle school. I went to Florida A&M University, so I'm a Rattler. Shout out to all the Rattlers out there. And spent about 14 years in Minneapolis, and that's where I actually started my business, Time Managed. And then we relocated back to Atlanta around 7 years ago, and still have the business, still living life, and doing what needs to be done.
Okay. So I have to ask, what made you create a task-oriented entrepreneurial business for yourself?
Yes, I love this question because my story is one that did not happen overnight.
Mhm.
And I've actually been in a position this past year to expand my team. And even to share my story with my team has been something that's super motivating. And they have a lot of questions. So it's just been a joy to reflect on that journey. So I initially had the idea around 2005 ish.
Mhm.
But I have to share this example with you. When I moved to Minnesota, I worked for General Mills. And in their corporate office, they had a concierge in the lobby. So you could give her $5 and she would run the Target twice a week. So my daughter, who is now 23, she was about 3 or 4 at the time. And I asked the concierge to pick up a electric toothbrush for her. And she came back with a black princess toothbrush. And I thought that was the most amazing thing. I did not ask her to pick out a black princess. I don't even think I asked her to pick out a princess toothbrush. But she saw who I was. She knew that my daughter's age, and she just went above and beyond the task. So with that memory in mind, additionally, I am the one in my family and friends who is the one who plans the trips, who is super resourceful. If you need something, if I don't know how to do it, I'll find somebody who can. And the third part of that is during, let's say, 2005 to 8, the Twin Cities of Minnesota were booming. And so lots of construction for condominiums, corporate offices, apartment buildings. And I was riding through St. Paul one day and I said, you know what, these buildings need a concierge. And I'm like, I'm already doing this stuff for my friends and family and I don't mind it. So I might as well make a business of it. Mm-hmm. And that story back in, 2003 or 4, with the experience at General Mills, always stuck with me because not only am I able to do the things that my clients ask for and that I am happy to do, but I also have a lens of going above and beyond. So not only completing the task, but completing the task with excellence, with efficiency, and surprising and delighting my customers. Fast forward to 2015. Mm-hmm. So you see there's about a 10-year gap. 2015 is actually when I started making my business official. I attended a business plan class through an organization called Women Venture in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And completed a full business plan at the end of that course. Mm-hmm. I also registered my business, got my EIN number, so put all the ducks in a row for my business in order to become official. So although I've been doing the work for about 20 years, my actual business has been official for almost 10 years. Mm-hmm. I've maintained a corporate job throughout this whole time, and the work that I've done for my business has fluctuated based on the amount of work that I had for my corporate job. But it wasn't until the pandemic where I stopped doing that. And so, since I'm super passionate about the work that I do, I want to go for it full force. And so that has meant for me is being really thoughtful about balancing my life. And like I mentioned, I have a team now. And so those little things along the way have allowed me to work my business as if it is my full-time job and not working it as I had been, which is more like part-time or as I had time.
That is amazing. I think the mo the first of all, that one thing that stood out to me was an experience that you got in the beginning that just made you want to bring that to other people.
Mhm.
Not just it being like, oh, it was just one thing. It was just kind of like you see me as an individual and you kind of like, okay, well, here's what I'm going to do for you in return. And it was kind of quite of a surprise. And I really can appreciate how that person just was able to surprise you and your daughter and just kind of give you like a, oh wow, like this is just an amazing. So to take that story and experience and apply it to your own business, I think that that you can create a six-figure, seven-figure company. I'm pretty sure you already have, um, and just run with it. So I want to know, like, have you ever had an experience with TaskRabbit at all? Like, I was just going to ask you, like, was that kind of like your competition? Because I know TaskRabbit came around right when COVID hit, or a little before, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm, mhm.
How was that like? And did you use it for any type of experiences with your own company?
Right. So I actually use TaskRabbit as well as Angie's List for my current clients.
Mhm.
I do look at them as a bit of a competitor, but we're different. You can think of us as a white glove service.
Okay.
So luxury, hands-on, and those are things you can't get with TaskRabbit
Mhm.
or Angie because those are really specific tasks. Whereas with our business, I am managing relationships with people and really getting to know them as a person, and
Right.
they have access to me. So with TaskRabbit, you may not know who you're getting, or if you do like to work for a company, let's just say for getting your lawn mowed, then you can choose that company over and over again. But for a comprehensive personal assistant that can do everything and then add that touch of that white glove treatment, that is what we offer. But as a resource, yes, we do use Angie's List and TaskRabbit. But we are very different. So they are a little bit of a competitor, but you won't find anyone that I've seen that does exactly what we do in the way that we do it.
Okay, amazing, amazing. I always wondered that, and it was just when it comes to a personal assistant, entrepreneurial business, when it comes to allocating to yourself to different businesses and what they offer and what you may offer, because what you offer is just an experience overall. This just, hey,
Mhm.
I just picked up your mail type of thing. It's kind of like you're going above and beyond. Like you said, white glove service.
Yep,
So
exactly.
I wanted to know, upon your journey into becoming an entrepreneur, what things did you feel like you had to sacrifice to get to where you are today? And how that affect your, I want to say not, I would say character, and did it grow? Like, because I know sometimes we may have to shed different skins to kind of put ourselves in a position and set ourselves up for, I want to say, success.
Absolutely. I think the biggest sacrifice has been with my family. So I sometimes wake up early, I work late. Um, I'm not able to go to everything that um, I might hope to go to for my children. But with that, I have to be really intentional. So if I do want to make my son's track meet, or if my daughter does have a band performance, I make sure that those things are priority and I put them on my calendar.
Mhm.
But if there is something urgent, or maybe I went to the track meet last week and I can't go this week, then that's a sacrifice that I have to make, and my kids are fine with that. So that actually is the second thing. A lot of times we put more pressure on ourselves to have this sense of balance and perfection, but our families may not necessarily need that. So it's offering myself a bit of grace when I have to make some of those tough choices, but then
Mhm.
also being aware of my family's needs. So my family is first when it comes to anything that I do. But I do realize, and they realize that um, short-term sacrifice leads to long-term benefits. So they've been with me this whole time as I'm building my business. So if they do see that there's a point in time where I do have to make more sacrifices, or I may not be around as much, or maybe not as engaged, they do understand that because I'll make up for it, another time. And if they really do need me, they know how to get my attention, and they know that I am prioritizing the things that the family needs. I wasn't always accepting. Maybe not accepting, but I wasn't always as liberal with giving myself grace. And that's something over the years that I've had to realize, because my mom guilt is real. And
A lot. I heard a lot. Like I hear so many women talk about, just having to have that balance and just like feeling bad
Mhm.
for not being able to, like choosing, career or just certain business choices and then instead of like, oh my God, I wish that, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel kind of guilty of even if you're buying yourself a new pair of shoes or a new shirt or, certain business things, like I hear that a lot.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So give yourself some grace and set those boundaries where there needs to be set. And I think the balance will come.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So I want to ask you, well, I would say, do you feel like you've made all the right choices for your business? And if not, you can go back and start over. What choices would you have made a lot sooner and why?
Yeah, it's a great question. I try not to live with regrets, but I would say the thing that I would do differently is um, not fluctuate so much. So I mentioned how based on the full-time job that I had or the corporate job, then that would determine the amount of time that I spent on my business. And I probably would not do that in the same way.
Yeah.
Additionally, I would probably use my network a little bit better. There was one instance where I knew the owner of a building, but I was communicating with the manager, like the property manager, and that was the person who would make a decision about who was going to staff the concierge desk in that particular building. But after he made the connection, I didn't go back to tell him I submitted the proposal and that, put in a good word for me. I didn't do any of that. So
Yeah.
I would probably speak up a lot more than I did in the past. But today, I mean, I will tell anybody that is willing to listen about my business. So that is definitely something that I would change and that I am actively doing today.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I can say I can agree with you there when it comes to being open and flexible, and speaking up. Because I definitely had a problem when it came to speaking up about myself and my business and what I like to do,
Mhm.
and as well as networking. I also had a big, I want to say, problem with learning how to network, especially moving to Atlanta. So I can agree with you there. I was just like, I don't know who to talk to, when to talk to them. Is it like, you kind of like, oh, can I tell you about what I have here? Like, it was
Right.
kind of like, it was kind of like a, hey, I'm over here. I would like to talk to you about something if you have a second. So it was always kind of awkward for me to kind of like get out of my shell and
Yeah.
just network. And now I'm more open to talking to people and say, hey, what do you do? How can we help each other? Like, what relationship can we build so that we can, pass along information just in case if someone may need, for your instance, like, oh, someone may need someone to have an experience and do it with a white glove service and have some time managing skills on their end so they can take a lot off their plate. Um,
Mhm.
and just learning how that negotiation and networking kind of worked. So I would definitely say I can agree with you there. I think as I
Yeah.
got older too, I kind of was just like, girl, nobody's going to nobody's going to do it for you. You got to get up and do it for
That's
yourself.
right. That's right.
So it was one of those moments. Is there anything in your business right now, within your business, that you would like to, I want to say, add going forward, or things that you would kind of want to improve?
So one of the offerings, well, two of the offerings, I would say are one, me doing more speaking engagements. So like this. So thank you for having me on. You are part of my goals for this year. So get
Yay.
out and share more tips and be more vocal, so I can be viewed as an expert in this space. So when you think about segments, if you watch the news around the holidays or during the spring, they bring in experts to show you how to make a pretty drink for the summertime or how to set the table for Thanksgiving. And so if you can think of those segments, I want to be the person that shows you how you can, efficiently handle spring cleaning, or what does it take to plan a vacation with your family, or what are some great spring break destinations. So I want to be the voice of the space as a personal assistant and concierge. The other thing is my team is equipped to go to different production sets. So if there's any films, commercials, TV shows being filmed, we can be
Oh,
the concierge on site. So ordering lunch, making sure everyone has breakfast, refilling snacks. So more like those craft services that you'll see during film and TV productions, as well as podcasts and things of that nature. So those are some offerings that we haven't typically advertised, but it's something that we're capable of and looking into for the future.
awesome, awesome. So you did say you dabbled in film and podcasts and stuff like that. Now, what about travel? Because you did mention that in booking a
Mhm.
vacation. So are you guys experts? Because I am looking for some people that know how to book a travel trip. Or two. So
Yes,
what
yes.
is your what does that look like for you guys? As to what do you guys handle?
Absolutely. So there's two ways to look at it. One is as a client of ours, if you have a trip that you want to take, we can do all the research and create your complete itinerary for the trip, book all your travel and things of that nature. I do have a subsidiary of Time Manage, which is called Travel Maven, and we curated 3 trips last year. So we went to Ghana, South Africa, and Morocco, and we handled the whole itinerary. So all you had to do was pay your money and show up. For one of the trips, we included flights. So that was a little bit of a test, but that was a group trip where I was able to go to a few places that I love and use my network for vendors who are on the ground in those countries to really curate experiences that you likely couldn't get anywhere else. And so travel is definitely something that we can do. So hit me up. I'll help you.
I will.
Yep.
I'm a girl that just likes to pay and show up. I do not like that is one of my pet peeves, honestly. Like, especially if you're going overseas or into a different time zone, it's very tedious for me, and my brain goes like the opposite direction. So I do love that. I've been on a trip where I had 2 experiences. One that I was able to get planned for me and just show up, and it was just like a peaceful joy moment. And then I also had one where I had to be a little bit more active and into the planning scene, and I did not like that at all. But I tried it, and I knew it wasn't for me. So, but yes, so that's awesome that you guys are able to do that as well. In your field, what would you say that you would change? So, if there is anyone else in your field, or just for you in general in your business, is there anything in your field that you would like to see a change in terms of the whole task world and clerical duties, just white glove service, and offering different experiences?
So I wish more people could appreciate the work that we do. And
Okay.
so a lot of times they think a personal assistant or a virtual assistant, well, I can pay somebody $8 an hour to do this overseas. Well, okay, you can try that, but we are very different from that scenario, right? So we are, like we said, white glove, luxury service, and there's definitely value in what we provide.
Mhm.
Because when you think about a busy executive or a busy mom, busy household, entrepreneurs, small businesses, these are all people who uh, have lots to do, like we all do. But the difference is they appreciate when someone can come along and they can outsource and they can get those tasks done so they can get back to the things that are most important to them, but they don't have to worry about certain tasks, and we're taking that off their plate. So it's like a weight lifted, and
Mhm.
you at times can put a value on that. So sometimes the work that we do is is invaluable, in some respects, I would say.
Okay, I understand that 100%. There are people that will go toe to toe with you on what they can do in comparison to what they can find overseas or in another country. So I totally get
Mhm.
that. What is your overall vision and goal for your business?
Ooh, to grow and expand, but grow and expand in a way that I am training and teaching what it takes to be a quality personal assistant. And so I like to say that I can't replicate myself, but I'm going to try my best to do so. So the things that are second nature to me, the things that I've shown my clients of how we go above and beyond, I want to be able to teach other assistants how to do that, whether they stay on my team or not.
Mhm.
Um, because I believe there is a certain level of service that you should provide a way to be a quality personal assistant. And those are the things that are going to set you apart from other assistants and other services that are out there that are very different from the service that we provide. So that is my goal, and I'm actively working on it now. So there are some things that we're putting in place. So if you follow us and stay abreast of what we have going on, you'll see some of those offerings happen pretty soon here.
Awesome, awesome. So what is it to be a part of your team, and what have you implemented like a training program, like you said, like you wish you could replicate yourself? Like, have you kind of like sat down and just like, hey, how can I come up with like some type of training so that I know that I am picking ideal candidates for the time managed business?
Well, the first part of your question, so the way that I hire, I look for those who are willing to learn. So you may not have had specific personal assistant experience, but if you have any project management experience, if you are a coordinator of any sort, those are the types of skills that are valuable to this business, and I'm willing to fill in any of the gaps. I don't currently have a formal training program, but that's what I was referring to as what we're working on. So I would say by the summertime I should have that full curriculum developed and actually started. For my team now, they're a little bit of my guinea pigs because they'll be the first ones to go through that formal training. Whereas today, I kind of teach as I go along. So if a client needs this task, I'll give the instruction to the person on my team who's handling that task, and then they'll go do it. Whereas, over the next few months, I'll actually be developing that training program as well as documented processes that the team can follow so that the tasks that we take care of are repeatable and can be replicated amongst the team.
Awesome. I do feel that, as I look back on like corporate America, like they would spend, thousands of dollars on meals and snacks and just everything allocated. Because I remember the snacks, going to training, you get snacks because then it's like, I guess you go, sometimes it's 2 days, sometimes it's 3 days, sometimes a whole week, depending on what you do. So I think a lot of people skip that process in developing ideal employees for your business, and they cut corners around the training process. And I think when people really take into account, like, hey, you have this white glove service and you want to keep the testimonials and the people's experience to like 100%. So I also say, like, I think investing in a training program, I think is like one of the best things you can do when trying to grow your business. And then it forms like a good system for you to like have, you can always refer back to. And when new people come along, you'll know all the rules and limitations and what to expect.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel that you are aligned with your purpose? And if not, what is it that you are doing to align yourself with your purpose?
I am. I definitely feel like I'm aligned to my purpose. I actually was thinking about closing my business.
Yeah.
And as soon as I know, I was like, I'm so tired of this. I don't have any clients with and it wasn't true. Like, I was just really being hard on myself. I've never not had 0 clients. But just at a point where I wanted more, I wasn't clear on how to get to where I wanted to go. I was feeling a little bit defeated because there were a couple of prospective clients that I had that, they said no. And so it was just a time I was feeling a little bit defeated and was really questioning, honestly, whether or not I should continue. And a couple weeks later, it was just like the overflow happened. And my scripture for last year was Ephesians 5:20, where it talks about super abundant blessings from God. And so that is exactly what I've experienced. And, I live in expectation of all the abundance that is going to continue to come this way. So I do think I'm aligned. I did have a moment where I didn't want to do this anymore. And God was like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. So I'm just going to show you. I'm going to show you. Yeah. So
So can you walk us through the moment? What did you do, when you were feeling on the heavier side and you were thinking into closing? And I know, I'm familiar with the word of God, and, I'm a praying person myself, but I just want people to kind of like understand what it took for you to be able to say no. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm going to stick it out. These are the things that I did to overcome the heaviness of, being an entrepreneur, because those moments come. We have high seasons, we have low seasons. So what did that look like for you?
Yeah, and that's just it. It's recognizing the times where you can have the confirmation that I've been here before, and every client that I've had or every inquiry from my site has not resulted in a yes. So just because you may have had 3 no's in a row does not mean that your yes is not coming.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, what are you attracting? So if you are speaking negativity into your life, then you're going to attract negative things. But if you have a positive mindset and you're speaking positivity into your life, then the positive things are going to be attracted to you. What kind of person are you? So are you negative all the time? Are you, how do you treat other people? So for me, I think all these things have contributed to the success that I have seen and the turnaround in my mindset, of just being positive, treating people well. What God has for me is my motto. So, I don't have to chase business. I was very clear during that low time that, if this was for me, that it would be easy. And that's okay to ask for. I'm a firm believer. Like, it does not have to be hard. You should not have to chase business. If somebody doesn't want to work with you, that's fine. The next person will want to work for you and pay the price that you have. So it was really a mindset shift, reminding myself of the success that I have seen in my life and the blessings that I have experienced, and knowing that at this moment, maybe it is a slow season, but the next season may be a season of abundance, and just believing in that. And
Awesome.
acting accordingly. You have to,
Yeah.
faith without works is dead. So you have to act according to what you're asking for.
I feel like a lot of people miss that part. Yes, we can pray, but we also have to work as well, because they go hand in hand. So just
Yeah.
be reminded of that every day that you wake up, and knowing that you are the one that is like, hey, I am the clock. I'm not tapping someone else's clock or punching someone else's clock. I am the clock. And so whatever I put in is what I'll get out.
Yes, absolutely.
Business. So I know you briefly talked about Angie's List. So how do you market your business? And what has been the most lucrative way to get your clientele?
It has varied over the years. So in the past, I've done trade shows and had tables where vendors can set up, and I've given away, 10 hours of service and things of that nature. So, physical, out in the street kind of marketing.
Yeah.
A lot of my business has come from word of mouth.
Mhm.
And then giveaways always help. And so I actually purchased a suite for the Beyonce concert this past year in Atlanta, and contacted literally everyone that was in my LinkedIn. Got a message who lived in Atlanta that said, if you purchase, I think it was 20 hours of personal assistant service, then you would get 1 free ticket to the suite in the Beyonce concert. So
Wait a minute, I should have known that. You did. Good. That's a really
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
So I was actually from that able to get not only a client who um, made the purchase and took me up on that deal, but they are a continuous client. So even though I had to make that investment and, give up a few hours of our services, it paid off in the end because they've been a client ever since. Never underestimate the power of word of mouth. And so I have one client who's been with me from the beginning, who has told one person, and that person told another person. So I have like 3 or 4 people who have come from this one person. And so I'm really grateful for that. And it's just a testament to the quality of work that we do, and the value that we bring to people's lives.
Awesome. That is amazing. I really love that. Like, I would say that is a true, I think, example of what it takes to invest in yourself and in your business and take the risk, and then just letting the chips fall where they may, because that was a great pitch. It could have been a commercial, because a lot of people, I seen a story on Facebook that someone, this guy's girlfriend spent some child support money and then bought a ticket and got in trouble later. So a lot
Uh-oh.
of people were risking it all
You're risking
to
it.
Beyonce to go to see Beyonce. So I think this was like probably like that was like a perfect idea to kind of like brand and pitch your business and services. Like, hey, if you
Mhm.
got someone that was like longevity, and then I would agree, word of mouth, best marketing tool out there. You know what I'm saying? Like outside of technology, word of mouth, because you can trust in, that particular person to say, hey, if you know me, I don't play, and I will
Mhm.
this person in that person's business. So that is amazing. Um, I gotta look, gotta stay equipped to what you be posting and see what type of ads you're gonna have. You gotta listen up. She got some great stuff going. Um, but yeah, so is there hold on one second. So yeah, so what piece of advice that you would give to someone coming up in your field, or any person that was looking to be an entrepreneur? What piece of advice that you would give them in the state of your business and where you are now and your mindset, and what have you learned?
I would say don't be afraid to invest in yourself. And even though your dream may seem big and unattainable, chunk it down into smaller pieces.
Mm,
Anyone who I have had the opportunity to speak with for about my business and my journey knows that I was inspired by a friend who told me that if you spend 1 hour on your business every day, at the end of the year, you would have invested 365 hours into your business. So even if you can take that small chunk of time and say for 1 hour a day, I can dedicate that time to my business, you will
yeah,
see the progress. So you might want to, I don't know, open a clothing boutique
yeah,
or be a franchise owner, but there are little steps along the way that you can take to get you to that main prize or that main goal. So don't think that it's unattainable. You make the choice to chunk it down into bite-sized pieces that will help you get to the main goal.
awesome, awesome. Now, in your current industry, what problems are you currently trying to solve that you may be the perfect fit to pick, perfect solution to, perfect person to create that solution?
Yeah, I would say anybody who is looking for more time in their day or even to take care of tasks, we are the company to do that.
Mhm.
And even though your focus may be on, making money, but maybe that means your laundry is not getting done or your dry cleaning is sitting at the dry cleaners.
Yes.
So even if you are super focused and you are really locked in to being successful,
Yeah.
there may be some things that are going undone in your life. And
Yeah.
so that's where we come in. And so we're taking off those things off of your plate. So one, you don't have to worry about them. And two, they're actually getting done. So you can continue to focus on what's important to you, but knowing that the rest of your life is intact and being run efficiently and well.
Awesome. Awesome. And one last question. What is the biggest risk that you have not took yet?
Quitting my full-time job.
Okay, okay, okay.
Honestly, yes, honestly. So it's I did a workshop a couple months ago with an organization called Quit Commuting, where I talk about the best of both worlds and how to manage your 9 to 5 and your entrepreneurial ventures. And so I'm sure eventually it might have to happen, but today I'm just trying to balance both. And in the future, if it comes to that, or if I am at a place where I am comfortable and I just feel like, we are,
Mm,
at a point where I can let go, then I will. But today I'm doing both. But I realize it's a it's a risk. Like literally pinky call. So I went to American Sesh. It's a collaborative kind of brainstorming session that Pinky Cole has. And after the show, I asked her a question and I was like, here's some of the goals of my company. What do you think I can do? And I was telling her how I have 9 contractors, but I'm still working full time. And she looked at me. She was like, "You still working full time?" I was like, "Yes, girl, I am." I felt so ashamed. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's the risk that I have not taken yet.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're gonna check back in to see if what progress and what things that you are doing to accomplish a goal.
For
But you
sure.
said, balancing is a big thing, and I don't think a lot of people realize like how many entrepreneurs are still working 9 to 5, their 9 to 5 jobs. Just because I want to say, I think COVID did a number on a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Some people it helped, some people it hindered. But the stability, I think, more than anything, and just being in a place where you're comfortable, I think, to take that risk. And sometimes it's a little wavering, but I've heard the best decision that a lot of people have made thus far. But
Yeah, for sure. And you think about entrepreneurs who have multiple streams of income, and so sometimes that is their choice and their way of life. So I just look at it as I'm creating multiple streams of income for myself.
absolutely. At this day and age, I don't think you can just have only one. I think
Mm-hmm.
having multiple is ideal, and it just kind of sets you up to, have more security than just none. Because if
Yeah.
at least if one is, crossed out or not, at its peak at the moment, then you have, something to fall back on.
Exactly.
Rainy day funds.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
Yes. So it was so great talking with you. Is there anything that you would like to ask me in return?
What are your goals? What do you hope to accomplish? I'm so excited for you and this podcast.
Yes. So I want to say I developed this podcast and through a season where I was going through, again, struggling with clientele of my business of my own and just trying to figure out the balance between my 9 to 5. And I was just like, there has to be someone out there that's going through the same struggle. So I was looking for people to just share their story. How did they reach to the success that they are today? What did it look like for them? Um, so all of that came through just open up this platform to give entrepreneurs their flowers, whether you're working a 9 to 5 still or you're just full on entrepreneurship and you and your business have been rocking out for some time. um,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that I would want to be that liaison to help those people get to where they need to be. So and my end goal is creating a nonprofit fund and then having live podcast shows to reach different people in the audience that will, once they buy a ticket and enter a raffle, they could be possibly a winner to having, what are you coming for this podcast for? What are you looking to get out of it? And then they will write down their goals and we will be blessing someone at the end of that podcast show. And that will be my turnaround of how I would like to see my podcast grow, because it won't be just a overnight thing. It will be a lifestyle in which people can benefit from, grow their business and kind of gain the knowledge or network, because there will be so many different people in so many different fields in that room at that time. And if there's a question or if there is a financial issue, if there's a course that you need to take, okay, how much is the course? Like, what is stopping you to,
Right.
getting to where you need to be? And then developing a brotherhood and a sisterhood so that people can come together and then they can network. And it will just be a great, it will become a great space for people to share their stories, because I don't feel like, I don't think I've heard all of the stories. And this is why I kind of do this every week, because hearing everybody's story, sometimes it's a little similar, sometimes it's very different, and far and few between. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about entrepreneurship. It had to be put in the oven. It was not a
Mm-hmm.
overnight process. It was things that you may have battled with to get to where you are. Some people will dissolve their business. Some people will just like, I created another one. I started over.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
there's so many stories being told, and I don't feel like people really can appreciate the process. And I think that this right here for me is like, I had to fall in love with the process because I have been humbled so many times
Oh
that
yeah.
it's just kind of like, it's a beauty to see someone come out on the other end and just like, hey, I also went through this too. And it just makes me feel, it's just kind of like a relatable experience. Like if you were to, walk in and have the same experience with a, just any type of experience, and it's just relatable, and it kind of was like warm, your heart warmed over time, and it was just like, wow, like I can stand behind what you do, how you deliver it, and just the services that you offer. So
Mhm.
that is one of my goals that I will say with my podcast. And I have a marketing consulting business as well, and starting up a new baby. But
Okay.
that is the chain. I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
consult people with their businesses and help them get to where they need to be, and alongside with the nonprofit.
Awesome. That sounds amazing.
Yes, yes, yes. So it took a turn, but it's like when you're good at something, it's kind of hard to pair it with the skill that you have. Like, it's like, I'm good at this, but how can I make this into something that can, be a ROI? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Generate income. Yep.
Yes, like how can I turn it into something that is going to be resourceful for my family to come, as my children get older, and just something that I can pass down the line. So I had to come up with something that I'm just like, okay, what can I turn into something that is going to
Yeah.
ROI for the long haul, and just have a flexible more time, right? I think a lot of people get into entrepreneurship to be flexible and just kind of develop, like, I wish I had more time, because the early mornings and late nights, it will pay off, but it's just like, when do we have balance to kind of do what we want? Like, we get sick days
Right.
and time off, but it's just like, when do we get to really experience life at the fullest? So I think
Mhm.
for me, that was it. That was the turning point.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. Let's build lives that we don't need a vacation from.
Yes, yes, yes. It's just like, you have to build the life that you're okay with, that
Yeah.
you can wake up and just like, okay, who can I help? Who can I serve
Mhm.
today? And I think serving is the biggest thing in entrepreneurship that I feel like people
For
don't
sure.
necessarily like get. Like, it's just like, you're in the business to serve. So whatever field they may be in, you have to love what you do. If you do not love what you do and not make money from it, then you're in the wrong field to be serving in, because
Mhm.
you're going to fall off the wagon and probably won't get back up, and probably walk to another wagon, because you just abandon your wagon, because at the end of the day, that is not what you signed up to do. And you're like, I did not sign up for this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
I think that is another thing that is, I think that's pretty significant in the entrepreneurial world, is making sure that the field that you're in is worth serving to you, whether
Mhm.
paid or not, and doing it and walking in that love. You know what I'm saying? So people
Yeah.
can't just like, you're building a business based off just pure and experience and just being valued. And people will pay the price, believe it or not,
For sure.
you'll find your audience. But yes, ma'am, that is it. That is all.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the invitation.
Of course, no problem. It was a pleasure speaking with you and hearing about your story. It was amazing. So, can you tell us where the viewers can find you on either what social media platform, either Instagram or Facebook or?
Yeah, we are Time Managed LLC on all platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Okay, awesome. Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Great Theory Podcast with London Great and special guest Monée Williams. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.